The vast emptiness of space suddenly erupted with tension as the alien fleet approached Earth's orbital perimeter. Commander Park Jae-sung stood on the bridge of the International Defense Station, his eyes fixed on the holographic display showing hundreds of massive ships slowly advancing toward humanity's home planet. Yoon-ji Kim adjusted her communication headset, listening intently to the incoming alien transmissions. The translation algorithms worked quickly, revealing a conversation filled with mockery and dismissive laughter. The aliens, a species known as the Confederation, believed human technology was laughably primitive. Look at their metal projectile. Weapons? One alien commander chuckled through the communication channel. They are still using chemical propulsion and solid-state ammunition. How quaint. Another alien voice responded with what seemed like pure amusement. These humans are barely more advanced than prehistoric hunter-gatherers. Their entire military technology looks like something from a museum. Commander Park's jaw tightened. He knew the aliens were scanning Earth's defensive capabilities, probing for weaknesses. The human fleet was significantly smaller and technologically inferior compared to the massive alien ships that stretched kilometers across space. Yoon-ji watched the data streams, her fingers moving quietly across her tactical display. She was different from most soldiers, a precision sniper who had spent years training in extreme environmental conditions. Mountains, deserts, Arctic regions, she could shoot accurately in any scenario. The alien fleet continued their approach, massive, energy weapons glowing with potential destruction. Their ships looked like intricate metal sculptures, with curved surfaces that seemed to defy traditional engineering principles. Each vessel contained technology centuries beyond human understanding. They will expect us to panic, Park whispered to himself, watching the incoming fleet. But we won't. Yoon-ji noticed something interesting in the communication patterns. The aliens were so confident in their technological superiority that they weren't even attempting to hide their communications. Their overconfidence would be their first mistake. The lead alien ship, a massive triangular structure with pulsing energy lines, moved closer to Earth's orbital defense line. Its commanders were broadcasting continuous messages of superiority, describing humans as a primitive species that would soon be conquered. What they didn't know was that humans had been preparing. Every technological limitation had been studied, analyzed, and potential countermeasures developed. Yoon-ji represented the pinnacle of human adaptability, a soldier who understood that technology was just a tool, and human skill was the real weapon. Her rifle lay carefully disassembled near her workstation, a custom-built weapon that looked deceptively simple, but contained generations of precision engineering. Each component had been meticulously designed and tested, capable of performing in conditions that would destroy standard military equipment. Commander, Park recognized the potential in soldiers like Yoon-ji. She wasn't just a shooter, she was a strategic asset. Her ability to remain calm under pressure combined with extraordinary marksmanship made her more valuable than entire squadrons of standard troops. The alien fleet continued their approach, their energy signatures growing stronger with each passing minute. They believed the invasion would be quick, simple, and almost effortless. Their historical records showed numerous civilizations falling within hours of their initial assault. But Earth was different. Humanity had something the aliens couldn't calculate or understand, an unpredictable spirit of resistance. Yoon-ji looked up from her display, making eye contact with Commander Park. A slight nod passed between them. They were ready. Whatever was coming, they would face it together. The first alien weapons began charging. Massive energy collectors on their ships started to glow, preparing for what they assumed would be a simple elimination of human defensive capabilities. They were about to learn a very important lesson about underestimating humanity. In that moment, suspended between potential destruction and unexpected resistance, Yoon-ji Kim represented something more than just a soldier. She was a symbol of human potential, adaptable, precise, and utterly unbreakable. The weeks following the initial alien encounter were a blur of intense preparation. Yoonji spent most of her time in a secure underground training facility, surrounded by advanced simulation equipment that pushed human capabilities to their absolute limits. Her rifle lay dismantled on a clean white table. Each component was a work of art, precision machined parts that looked deceptively simple, but contained generations of human engineering expertise. The weapon wasn't just a tool, it was an extension of her own body and mind. Military researchers worked around the clock, analyzing the alien communication intercepts. They discovered patterns in the Confederation's technological approach. Despite their advanced weaponry, they relied heavily on predictive computational systems. This was a weakness humans could exploit. Commander Park supervised the preparation efforts. He understood that traditional military thinking would not work against an enemy with such technological superiority. They needed something different, something unexpected. Yoonji's training became increasingly complex. She practiced shooting through multiple simulated obstacles, her breathing controlled, her movements calculated. The simulation room could recreate any environmental condition, from dense urban landscapes to alien spacecraft interiors. "We're not just preparing to defend," one of the senior strategists told her. "We're preparing to send a message that humanity won't be easily conquered." The global military had pooled its resources. Countries that had been historical rivals now worked together, sharing technology and intelligence. The alien threat had done what decades of diplomacy could not: unite humanity under a single purpose. Advanced computer systems analyzed thousands of potential invasion scenarios. Each simulation showed how human creativity could overcome technological limitations. Yoonji represented the core of this strategy, adaptability combined with precision. Her daily routine was brutal. 16-hour training sessions that pushed her physical and mental limits. She would spend hours in zero-gravity simulations, practicing shooting techniques that defied traditional understanding. Then hours studying alien communication patterns, learning how to predict their strategic movements. The rifle underwent constant modification. Engineers worked alongside her, making minute adjustments based on her feedback. They weren't just creating a weapon, they were creating a system that could potentially change the course of human history. Psychological training was equally important. Yoonji learned to maintain absolute composure under extreme stress. Meditation techniques combined with advanced cognitive training helped her develop a level of mental control that seemed almost superhuman. "The aliens expect us to be predictable," her primary instructor explained. "Our greatest weapon is our ability to be completely unpredictable." Global communication networks buzzed with nervous energy. Civilian populations were kept calm, but everyone knew something significant was happening. The military's preparations were unlike anything seen before. Yoonji's personal quarters were Spartan, a small room with minimal personal belongings. A single photograph of her family reminded her of what she was fighting to protect. Her entire life had been leading to this moment. The rifle took shape slowly. Each day brought new modifications, new understanding. It was becoming more than a weapon. It was a symbol of human ingenuity. Commander Park watched her progress with growing respect. She wasn't just a soldier, she was a potential game changer in humanity's fight for survival. Satellite networks continued monitoring the alien fleet. Their movements were calculated, their technology impressive, but they had no idea what was coming. Yoonji spent hours studying alien communication patterns. She learned to read between the lines, to understand the psychology behind their technological arrogance. They saw humans as primitive, which would be their greatest mistake. The final weeks of preparation were intense. Every system was tested, every scenario simulated. The rifle became an extension of human potential, a simple tool that could potentially change the entire course of an interstellar conflict. As the alien fleet drew closer, humanity held its breath. The preparation was complete. Now, all that remained was the ultimate test. Yoonji checked her weapon one last time. Her hands were steady. Her mind was clear. She was ready for whatever was coming. The invasion was no longer a possibility. It was a certainty. The first wave of alien attacks came without warning. Massive energy weapons erupted across Earth's orbital defenses, turning sophisticated space stations into clouds of burning debris. Hundreds of human defensive platforms disappeared in seconds, their advanced technology no match for the alien firepower. Yunji remained perfectly still in her hidden mountain position. Her camouflage systems made her invisible to both human and alien scanning technologies. The world around her was chaos, but she was a point of absolute calm. Alien ships moved with terrifying precision. Their energy weapons could slice through steel and concrete like paper. Cities on the ground began to take heavy damage. Military bases were primary targets, reduced to smoking craters within minutes of the initial assault. Commander Park watched the destruction from an underground command center. Communication networks were failing. Each passing minute meant more human losses. The aliens were methodical, calculating, seemingly unstoppable. Yunji's rifle was positioned carefully. She had spent weeks calculating potential firing positions, understanding wind patterns, atmospheric conditions, and the unique gravitational challenges of long-distance precision shooting. The first alien command ship moved into her calculated range. Its massive hull gleamed with advanced energy shielding, technology that humans couldn't even begin to understand. The ship was nearly 3 kilometers long, a floating city of destruction. Her first shot would need to be perfect. Yunji's breathing slowed. Her heart rate dropped to an almost impossible level. Years of training had prepared her for this exact moment. She wasn't just a soldier. She was a weapon of calculated human precision. The rifle moved almost imperceptibly. Its custom-designed ammunition was unlike anything in standard military inventories. Each round was a marvel of engineering, capable of penetrating advanced alien shielding through a combination of material science and unexpected physical properties. She pulled the trigger. The shot was silent. No massive explosion. No dramatic sound effect. Just a precision-guided projectile moving faster than most computer systems could track. The alien command ship's primary communication array suddenly went dark. One shot. One critical system disabled. Alien commanders began to panic. Their perfectly calculated invasion plan was experiencing its first unexpected variable, something their computational systems couldn't predict. Yunji fired again. Another critical system destroyed. The massive alien ship began to list slightly, its advanced technology suddenly vulnerable. Commander Park watched the tactical displays in disbelief. Something was happening that defied all expected invasion scenarios. The aliens were losing control of their own assault. More shots followed, each one precisely targeted, each one causing maximum disruption with minimum energy expenditure. Yunji was playing a different game, not fighting the aliens but systematically dismantling their technological superiority. The alien fleet's communication networks began to collapse. Their computational systems, so advanced they seemed magical, were being overwhelmed by the most unexpected weapon, human precision and creativity. Yunji understood something the aliens didn't. Technology was just a tool. Human skill, adaptability, and unexpected thinking were the real weapons. Another shot. Another alien system destroyed. The invasion was no longer going according to plan. Panic began to spread through the alien fleet. Their computational models hadn't predicted this level of human resistance. A single shooter was creating more chaos than entire squadrons of alien warships. Commander Park allowed himself a small smile. Humanity had just shown its true potential. Yunji continued firing. Each shot was a message. Each disabled system a statement about human capability. The first strike was happening, and nothing would ever be the same again. The aliens had made a critical mistake. They had underestimated humanity. The alien fleet leader Krell watched in growing horror as his supposedly invincible invasion force began to crumble. Each disabled system represented more than just technological failure. It was a complete breakdown of everything the Confederation believed about human capabilities. Communication channels within the alien fleet became increasingly desperate. Their advanced Computational systems designed to predict and counter any potential threat were failing spectacularly. One single human shooter was creating more chaos than entire alien military strategies. Yunji understood psychological warfare better than most soldiers. It wasn't about destroying everything. It was about creating doubt, fear, and uncertainty. Her shots were precise, calculated to maximum psychological impact. Another critical alien communication array went dark. Then a navigation system. Then a defense grid. Each shot was like a surgical strike directly into the alien fleet's confidence. Commander. Park monitored the situation from the underground command center. The aliens' technological superiority was being systematically dismantled by something they couldn't comprehend: human creativity and unpredictability. Krell began to realize the invasion was no longer going according to plan. The computational models that had predicted an easy victory were falling apart. Humans weren't fighting like any species the Confederation had encountered before. Yunji's position remained undetected. She was a ghost in the machine, striking with precision that seemed almost supernatural. The aliens' scanning technologies couldn't locate her. Their advanced sensors were useless against her carefully planned camouflage. The psychological impact was spreading. Alien ship commanders began to argue among themselves. Their perfect invasion strategy was falling apart, and no one understood why. Fear started to replace their initial confidence. One by one, critical systems across the alien fleet began to fail, not through massive destruction, but through precise, calculated interventions. It was like watching a complex machine being slowly taken apart by an invisible hand. Krell's communication attempts became more frantic. The invasion that was supposed to take hours was now turning into a potential disaster. Humans were fighting in a way that defied all known military strategies. Commander Park watched the tactical displays with a growing sense of satisfaction. Humanity had just shown its true potential. They weren't just defending, they were demonstrating a level of adaptive warfare that the aliens couldn't understand. Yunji continued her precise strikes. Each shot was a message. Each disabled system a statement about human capability. She wasn't just fighting, she was teaching the aliens a lesson about underestimation. The alien fleet's computational systems began to crash. Their perfect invasion plan was falling apart piece by piece. What had seemed like an unstoppable force was now revealing its fundamental weakness: a reliance on predictive technology that couldn't account for human creativity. Krell realized they had made a critical mistake. Humans weren't a primitive species to be conquered. They were an adaptive, creative force that could turn seemingly impossible situations into opportunities. Communication between alien ships became panicked. Their initial confidence was replaced by confusion and fear. The invasion that was supposed to be a simple conquest was turning into a potential disaster. Yunji remained calm. Her training had prepared her for this moment. She wasn't just a soldier, she was a weapon of human potential, demonstrating that technology was just a tool, and human skill was the real power. The psychological warfare was working perfectly. The aliens were no longer an unstoppable force. They were becoming confused, uncertain, and afraid. Commander Park knew this was more than just a battle. This was a statement about humanity's potential. They were showing the universe that technological superiority meant nothing without adaptability and creativity. Another shot. Another alien system destroyed. The invasion was falling apart, and humanity was just getting started. Krell made a decision that would change everything. The invasion was no longer viable. Retreat was the only option. The psychological warfare had worked perfectly. Humans had turned certain defeat into a potential victory. The alien fleet began to retreat. What had started as a confident invasion was now a desperate escape. Massive ships turned away from Earth, their once perfect formations now broken and chaotic. Yunji remained in her position, watching through her rifle's advanced scope. She had become more than just a soldier. She was a symbol of human resistance. Her precision had changed the entire course of the invasion. Commander Park watched the tactical displays with a mixture of relief and disbelief. Humanity had done the impossible. They had stopped an invasion that should have been unbeatable. The alien confederation's technological superiority meant nothing against human adaptability. Krell, the alien fleet leader, couldn't comprehend what had happened. His computational systems had predicted a total victory. Instead, they were retreating with massive losses. One human shooter had destroyed their entire invasion strategy. Communication channels between alien ships were filled with confusion and fear. They had encountered something completely unexpected, a species that fought differently from any they had seen before. Humans weren't predictable. They weren't logical. They were something else entirely. The first alien ships crossed beyond Earth's orbital zone. Each moment of retreat was a testament to human potential. They had shown the universe that technology wasn't everything. Skill, creativity, and determination could overcome any obstacle. Yunji began to pack her equipment. Her rifle, the weapon that had changed everything, was carefully disassembled and stored. She had done what entire military forces couldn't. She had stopped an alien invasion with precision and skill. Commander Park approached her position. The mountain landscape around them was untouched, a silent witness to the incredible battle that had just occurred. Yunji stood quietly, her eyes scanning the retreating alien fleet. "They won't be back," she said simply. Global communication. Networks began to light up. News of the unexpected victory spread quickly. People who had been terrified just hours ago were now celebrating. Humanity had survived. More than that, they had thrived. The alien confederation's communication records would later show complete confusion. Their invasion logs showed a perfect plan falling apart because of one simple factor: they had underestimated humans. Yunji represented something more than just a soldier. She was a symbol of human potential, her ability to remain calm, to think creatively, to adapt. These were the real weapons that had saved humanity. Researchers would spend years studying the battle. How could one shooter change the entire course of an alien invasion? The answer was simple. Humans were unpredictable. They didn't follow expected patterns. They adapted. Commander Park knew this was more than just a military victory. This was a statement about human potential. They had shown the universe that technological superiority meant nothing without creativity and determination. The last alien ships disappeared from Earth's scanning systems. They were gone, defeated not by massive weapons or advanced technology, but by human skill and unexpected thinking. Yunji finally allowed herself a small smile. The battle was over. Humanity had won. Global celebrations began. People who had been terrified just hours ago were now dancing in the streets. They had survived an alien invasion. More than that, they had defeated a technologically superior enemy. News networks began broadcasting the story. One shooter, one rifle. An entire alien invasion stopped in its tracks. It seemed impossible, but it had happened. Commander Park looked at Yunji. She wasn't just a soldier anymore. She was a hero, a symbol of human potential. The alien confederation would think twice before attacking Earth again. They had learned a valuable lesson about underestimating humanity. Yunji packed her equipment. Another day was ending, but everything had changed. Humanity had shown its true potential.